Hello, people. It's so cool to be in this huge hall. So many people are afraid that AI gonna take your jobs, and you are right. AI gonna take all your jobs. So that's why we're here. It's a bit of sort of self-therapy. We're gonna tell each of us gonna tell how AI has stolen our jobs. And then I have some very peculiar questions. So the structure is that, I guess, let's make it in term for the fun of it. So each of us gonna present who you are and how AI has stolen your job. So Mantas, who you are and how has AI stolen your job?
Hi, I'm Mantas. I was doing a game development tools for the last 15 years. Now I'm researching AI, and I also working on AI for the last 5 years. So I don't think AI is stealing my job, but it's actually allowing me to do some things faster, but also it's also trying to deceive me often. I was doing small research on how many prototypes are actually shipping versus failing this type of question. I was giving that question to the ChatGPT, and it actually gave me some link to the blog post, which is telling that 90% of the prototypes are failing. And was, oh, cool, very good link. I'm going to that site, and it's not there. Okay, maybe it was deleted because somebody upgraded the blog engine and something else. I'm going to the Internet Archive, and it's not there either. And then I started thinking. And a couple of days later, there was big news that some journalists made a actually story based on ChatGPT answers about actually non-existing facts and wrong citations. And then I understood that, oh, okay, it's actually trying to deceive me and give me answers I would like, but it's not necessarily true. So maybe it will steal my job, but it also will be lying to everyone.
Okay, one very quick question for you. Do you use AI to help you to code things?
Yeah, so I use AI both to write emails as the glorified autocomplete spell checker. I do use AI as a search engine. I use image generators, and I do AI to actually do some code. But yeah, all small things together.
So you have a huge team then?
Sorry?
You have a huge team of robots helping you?
Minions.
Cool, minions. Mike, please, who you are and how AI has stolen your job?
Yeah, hello, I'm Mike Rafiienko from tinyBuild. Yeah, I mean, talking about the AI so far, it's still just only some boring stuff for me, so I don't mind, to be honest. And something like writing emails, reading long messages, and all that kind of stuff. So, to be speaking quite honest, I'm being more happier with AI than without it, and this is how I roll. I don't know, is there any questions or particularities in this?
The question is, why do you feel that AI is better than you?
Well, it's like restless.
Restless? Okay.
This is a specification, so with an AI you can just set something on doing job and then just spend your leisure time. And this is the true beauty of AI. It can do much more in terms of find out the best answers, information, reading countless user reviews, etc. And this is where AI is much better than I am. Also, it's much better in grammar because from the school years, I'm so bad in this, terrible. So now I'm happier.
But we're talking mostly about ChatGPT.
Not necessarily, not entirely, because how to say, what I'm dealing now is it's called long chain. So it's an API for integration a lot of models. So you can take any model from the Hugging Face, you can take the ChatGPT model if you wish from OpenAI Playground, or you can use something else. So I'm preaching agnostic services, which is agnostic to extent that if tomorrow GPT model would be suck, you can switch to something else.
Okay, so basically what I hear is like that you're very conscious which robot you're using, and you have like jobs for each robots. Like, so you have a horde of robots working for you.
Yeah, so it's more like, you know, paradigm of like making like more agent-based AI. So you can set up an agent, you can set up the procedure for each agent and like relate on the scale of what kind of like acceptable answer of those agents. And this is, I mean, this is exactly the same thing, but more in terminology.
Cool. Thank you. So have you noticed that both of them have teams of robots working for them? So my next question gonna be about parasocial relationships they have built with their teams. But Sasha, so who are you and how AI has stolen your job?
Okay, hello. For those of you who don't know me, I'm recruiter at Values Value. We are a recruiting agency and work mostly with game dev studios and help them hire necessary specialists. And also, together with our partners in Game Job, we provide different surveys and then share our analytics and some useful data. So, regarding AI, no, it didn't steal my job. Yes, it helps me in some routine tasks like editing job descriptions, helping in some letters to check if it's not too emotional, if I keep in business language, you know. But in all the rest of the stuff, I do the screenings, I communicate with the candidates, no robots. So yeah, I believe that recruiter still, that robots cannot replace us, so far at least.
So far.
Yeah, because you know there is a human factor, blend of soft skills, of live interaction with the candidates and matching with the companies, and also sometimes there are such nuances that AI cannot replicate.
Okay, so AI doesn't sense people. That's what I hear, and you do.
What? Sorry?
Doesn't feel like the people vibe. Because I mean, you're hiring for soft skills in a way.
Culture fit, something like that.
Cool. And when you're talking about AI, you're talking about ChatGPT in this
Mostly,
context.
yes.
Did you try anything else?
I researched that there are ATS, applicant tracking system, that use also AI technologies, but actually we don't use it in our company right now. But my colleague that had the speech in Yellow Hall, Oля Bartlett, she said that they are using some ATS with AI.
So, any like, I mean, with in-game job and values value, I mean, like you have these huge CRMs, like systems to manage everything. Is it algorithms, or are you building in AI too, so that robots look research into, you know, the database of people that you have and suggest like,
no, we do that. No robots so far.
Yeah. So, okay, so you still rely on people there. Look, so now it's my turn to tell my story. And after that, like, you would be able to ask questions, or I will come up with questions, including the parasocial relationships. And the reason I'm bringing up the parasocial relationships is about my personal story. So, hello, my name is Oli. I'm founder of Gamedev, and there is a booth of the company if you want to know what I do. And so the story. The story is very, very recent. My team went on vacations for 2 weeks. For 2 freaking weeks, I have been talking only to robots. Like, it's mostly ChatGPT. I also developed, because I needed a team. So I needed a PR person. I was working on a pitch deck, so I needed like an investor person, and like it's a whole thing. Then I needed to set up marketing for Google Ads. I didn't know how to do this, so I needed a copy, I needed image, something, and I needed to learn like how, because like it's one thing to learn UI, it's another thing like what do I do? And yeah, I have been talking to all these robots, developed these different personalities, and I liked this a lot. And then, you know, like I figured out, why am I enjoying this so much? I mean, like, those of you using Twitter, did you notice like all these tech bros raving about AI and how they like it? Yeah, that's how I felt, because Because this freaking AI tells me what I want to hear. So it's like talking into a mirror. It's like, oh, dude, you're so amazing. Yes, I'm so amazing. So that's how I felt. So my question to you, do you have a name for your personal chatbot or like robot or ChatGPT in this case? And do you call it he, she, or it? Mantas. So like when you talk to ChatGPT, is it he, she, or it? And do you call it Amanda?
No, I actually don't think about it as a person, but it's it's close to that. But I had a name for my image generator.
What was the name?
It was Neogene Imaginator, and it had avatar of the he person.
Yeah. Cool.
Actually, it helps
So it's
probably people to kind of think about it as the person to some degree.
Before I go to Mike, the question to people in the audience. Do you have these robot vacuum cleaners? What's the name? How do you call it? Shout it. Robertas, okay. Thierry? Jerry. More? Michael? What? Kubi. Yeah. What more? Yeah, Kubi is okay. Like Wally. Yeah, makes sense. So how is the therapy session going? I mean, like, you're calling your robot a name, and that's a thing that just vacuums the floor. So, and also, let me notice, do you have, like, the vacuum cleaners that you have to hold? Do they have names? Bingo. I'll let you, let's this think for a bit. Mike, so your favorite chatbot, is it he, she, or it?
I mean, to be honest, it's review reader bot. This is a name.
Okay.
I mean, pretty self-explanatory, but I will take your advice. It's maybe like something like Brad. Or
Brad.
like, I don't
Okay.
know, Sophie.
Okay. Okay. Sasha, so he, she, or it?
Okay, so actually yesterday I with my colleagues were discussing all this topic, and I noticed that colleagues called it every time he. Yes, so yeah, it doesn't have a name, but more often I see that people are saying he.
Yeah.
And saying and being polite to it, like, oh, thank you so much for your edits, for your plan, have a nice day. And of course he replies, yeah, thank you too, thanks for coming, or something like that.
Yeah. So now I want to actually pick up on Mantas, because you told that the robot imagined an article. So to imagine, that's a very human process. I mean, you use the verb, like, you don't, like, for example, when you're writing a document in a whatever, Word or Google Docs, I mean, like, it autocorrects. You don't tell that, oh, it imagined I wanted to write duck instead of what I was writing. But in terms of the text generating robot that you use the word dimension. So the question to you as a AI researcher, where is it going if we impersonate robots? So like, do you feel emotional attachment to the thing, or like, why are you using this very humane verb for autocorrect?
I think it definitely helps to kind of build some mental model around the things happening around you, especially when it's like paradigm shift. It's something new happening, and then you're trying to apply concepts which from your past experience. I could definitely say that it's just matrix multiplication produced incorrect answer, and it would be very boring.
Yeah.
Instead of saying that it imagined a non-existing article, right? So you can pick somewhere between these two very different points.
Okay, so what I hear is that you're saying, like, because like you're so deep in this technology, you both consciously and subconsciously understand that this is a freaking database. Like, you use the verb that is just like shorter. Did I hear you right?
Yes.
Cool. Sasha, now I actually want to pick on you, because you work with human beings, and it's a lot of emotions, it's about of relationship building, and you admitted that you're building this relationship well with the robot. So do you think it's a good process, or is it something, I know, dangerous, for example, that you can become biased to what the robot suggests? Because, I mean, you sort of like it, or him, in this case.
Sorry, didn't get the question.
The question is, like, you're building a relationship with this robot. Do you think that you're going to become biased because of the advices and the ideas that this robot brings to you? Like, are you going to believe more? Like, what are you doing to stay conscious that this is a robot and to trust your gut feeling more than what the robot tells?
I'm not just get addicted to it. I don't come too often for advices or something like that because I love communicating with real people, you know. So that's how I stay it divided. People communication and asking for some structured replies from ChatGPT. That's it.
Mike, I assume that you use the AI like mostly for the texting, so like to analyze text, to summarize text. Is it correct?
Not entirely. So what I'm looking for, from AI is more like automations and the microservices inside the organization that can do the heavy lifting. So we have more free time to make critical decisions, to make the creative process. If you can leverage each heavy lifting task, which is boring, or too bureaucratic, you will have more time for living your life. This is what I'm doing.
Do you have a pushback from the team? It's like, oh, this robots, like we don't want robots. Like I don't like the output. I don't want to learn how to use it. And what do you do about it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, if you're not going to identify the people's needs, just to bring something top down, say like, well, from this time on, you did thing. People will revolt, and you will dealing with the revolution in your company. So to make a peace, at the first place, you have to find out well, are there any requests, necessity for people? And if people start being more happy in doing something faster, well, this is a way. So this is what I did. Even the recent review readers, as I said. So you spend a lot of time reading user reviews, and how the heck you're gonna do this in Chinese? You have to translate it long time, and then you have the Discord bot. You have the answers right away, good pickups from the user reviews, and you're not wasting time on this.
Yeah, but let me be super straight. Did you get you mentioned this revolt thing? Did you get no, Mike? No. I don't want to use this AI. I don't trust it. I don't want to learn how to use it. I want to do the classy way. That's it.
Yes, good sir. I have a lot of these notes.
Cool.
I mean, in reality, we're living in 2023, and we're talking about AI, and this is something with some novelty. But 85% of cases, maybe 90, I have this no. It's sorry, politely, or not polite, impolite. I don't need this.
Cool. So my team is also very not polite with me. They're like, we're not using this thing. Why? Well, say for example, the Vanessa, who you can find and meet at the Gamedev booth. She's like, I enjoy writing text. This is what I do. My texts are humane because I invest part of my personality in it. And she's like, this is her, this text, this is her consciousness. This is how she sees life and the world and digests the whole thing. And it's holy, it's sacred to her. And she just cannot allow a robot do this. And I'm trying to say, look, Vanessa, but if you either embrace it, the whole lecture about 2023, Vanessa, you're gonna be irrelevant, and you're young. It's it's not you're gonna go to the pension soon. You have to embrace it or be irrelevant. She's like, I don't care.
Okay, so she enjoys writing text, but there must be something that she doesn't like doing. Maybe it can help her with the plan or with the structure or with the checking grammar again, or something like that. So maybe she can delegate some things that she doesn't enjoy.
Mantas, you have something to say?
Yeah, actually I was interviewing quite a few game studios how they possibly could use AI. And what was interesting when I was talking to artists, they were suggesting, well, AI is not good at art, but it should definitely do the programming. And when you talk to the developer, they say, it's not good for developers, but it's great for creating game assets. We should definitely use it for the game assets. Basically, people are trying to protect the things they like to do, and they would like to offload things to the AI which they don't like to do or lack skill. And that's why it's quite hard for AI in bigger and well-optimized organizations, because everyone is professional, everyone is great at job. So it's very little where you can actually kind of improve the process significantly to make it work. And it's quite different story for very tiny, small studios where a single person is doing everything. Then the AI is actually making this person 5 times more effective.
Okay, let me catch you on this phrase. Do we have indie developers in the room? Indies, who are you? Are you AAA developers? Big studios? Okay, do you use AI in your process? Okay, not yet.
Do you want to?
Not yet, but not, okay, Mantas. He sort of almost agrees with you. Okay, okay. Mike and Sasha, Claire, I want to pick on both of you. Maybe have an opinion. So, like, 4 of us seems to actually enjoy like using AI and feel like it makes making our lives better. But then again, we all brought up ideas of people, maybe the majority of people, who don't like using AI because of whatever, fears, insecurities, maybe they don't know how to use it. So like, who is normal? Us, who are embracing AI, or those who fear AI? What is normal these days?
I think it's normal to be interested in modern technologies and to keep your hands on pulse.
So we're normal.
Yeah. Everyone is normal, but just maybe we need to show how they can use these technologies. Maybe they are just afraid that it will steal their jobs. But we can show that no, they won't, but it can help.
Well, they will.
Not for now, you know.
Okay.
I had a conversation with my young daughter, you know, young generation, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, I'm participating in discussion, will AI steal our jobs? What do you think? She's 11. She's like, no, I don't think that it will do now. But in 3000, maybe it will.
Okay. Cool. Mike, your take on this?
Yeah, you know, sometimes I'm looking like a lunatic. So, in eyes of my wife, in eyes of my colleague, it's like, oh yeah. It starts being boring. Yeah, it's really make yourself being a cliche of yourself, talking the same thing all the time. Then, I mean, if we take some historical parallels, we can see, like, you know, when I was a kid, it was an internet, a big thing. And people do not pay much attention to the internet. It was like a question whether or not there will be like internet commerce. And people usually answer like, no, we don't need it. Yeah, we have the Amazon grew up, a lot of like, you know, startups to the like, you know, the main champions in this area. So I think, you know, it's a question of time. So in 10 years, we will see a very different landscape.
Yeah.
May I add? Because I feel that AI is currently it's still in quite early stage, and that's why only early adopters are jumping on it. And for real professional use, you need both very fine-tuned for specific use cases AI, and also well integrated into processes and the tools the professionals are using. And that's why there is a kind of big gap. And also people need to adapt with their thinking. I think the greatest example why it's still in the early stage, because we see AI engineering being like AI prompt engineer being a specialist role now. It will disappear in 2 years.
It's like
or
Microsoft Word operator.
Yeah.
Cool. Actually, I want to continue on a story with an example. Another colleague of mine, Lera, you can also find her on the booth. So she cannot use, like she tries using AI, mostly ChatGPT, but she gets bad results. You know why? she has a lot of empathy, and she's trying like to thank this thing, to put it very nicely, to never correct it, because like because it's like, and obviously the AI gets lost. Like this ChatGPT doesn't understand what she wants from it, and she gets bad results because she's like, no, I don't want to be too pushy, you know, all this thing. And yeah, thank you so much for helping me. I'm gonna continue on my own, you know, like all this thing. And I'm like, this is a database. I mean, you are not polite to whatever, Google Docs or whatever, to Adobe Illustrator. You're not polite. This is a tool. You swear each time Illustrator does something bad. So like, why cannot you swear at AI? And she's like, oh, but this thing is so nice to me. It thanks me. It apologizes and all that. So yeah. How do we? And the question with the context is like, so yeah, what do we do? Do we put out the manual? It's like, if you want to get good results, be strict with AI, or like, what do we do so that people understand this is a tool?
I think the secret is in writing right requests. Yes, sorry for the formulation. Okay, but anyway, maybe you should make some kind of short webinar for your mates. So,
I did a huge rant. Does it count?
Okay. So some kind of document, how to use AI, how to write the prompt request.
Well, she cannot, because I mean, she's just empathetic. Yeah, she's unfit for this world. Good.
Yeah.
Mike?
But you know, it depends on like which kind of AI we're talking about. So
ChatGPT, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT is a simple one. So if we would have some more personalized AI model which can learn from us and you know, kind of keep in mind, remember some stuff. Yeah, I think to be kind to those creatures, like anthropomorphic creatures, would be necessary. For now, at least, I'm seeing it like, well, if you can. People can get more knowledge about the technical side of things, well, they not being polite at all. Well, they can figure this out. It's not a rocket science, but for many people, it's big no-no to dive deeper in this world. And then when you're seeing it, you kind of can answer those questions. Well, yeah, it's very strict process of getting data from the data set. Okay, why are you supposed to be? So I'm like, by knowing this, I'm writing just a few words, like make better, make shorter. I don't mind, but you know, for people who don't know, this is a black box. It was a magic.
Mantas, do you have a take on it?
Yeah, I think it's a good example that currently we're still staring at a technology which is in a research phase, and people and engineers and product people should come and make a product from it, which would be kind of adapting to the persons who are using it, and also people will also adapt a bit, so they will meet in the middle. But we should not forget that like ChatGPT was released that as a research tool or like research output of the OpenAI labs, which are not actually product organization. They are not building product as one, right?
Okay, now people, like, look, if you want to ask the question, you don't necessarily need to wait till the end. Just like bring your body somewhere to the front, and we have a microphone here.
Yeah, there is a microphone stand. Just come
so
to it, and they'll see that you have a question.
That would be cool. So let's talk a bit about the future and where is it going. Since I mean, we cannot predict. We don't know what's going. Maybe Mantas knows because like he's a bit of ahead of us. Like he does the thing that we use, in a way. But let's try to imagine that we. Like, how would you imagine how you would like to use AI in the future? Let's put it this way. So instead of predicting what it's going to be, what would you like it to be? Mike and Sasha, like, who wants to predict? To dream first.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll be the first. I imagine it that at first I think that everyone should master it whether they like it or not, because if you deny these technologies, it doesn't mean that it won't enter your life anyway. So I imagine that we will live like in cooperation, yeah, that I will use AI tools to help me get rid of routine tasks that I don't like, and it will help me structurize my thoughts and being less emotional, yes, in some online communication. So that's my request from these tools, and I imagine that it helped me a lot indeed.
Okay, so pretty much you request a personal AI assistant in a way.
Some kind of it, yeah.
Cool. I actually, I want to double down on what you have said, since that's what I would like it to do, and that's what it is not, by the way. And that's how I tried to use, in this case, ChatGPT. So I figured out that if you talk to ChatGPT too long, these things starts imagining things. So like I'm telling, use the information of this conversation, and it imagines like something completely. So pretty much that's a hint for all of you. If you use ChatGPT, it starts forgetting things after a certain conversation. So, and my dream would be that, you know, it's like, hey Siri, I record the audio, and like currently this is how I set reminders for myself. But I'd also like, you know, like I'm walking whatever on the treadmill, I have a great idea, I record it, and this thing is integrated with the phone, and it knows where to structure like whatever I had, whatever great idea I had, where to put it, and summarizes it and put to the right place, and then gives me like, hey, so like for the third week in a row, you're thinking about this, so this is the great idea that you're thinking. So like it helps me to think. So I want to outsource thinking. Mike?
Yeah, right on, right on. You said the right thing. So the concept of AI is the way of thinking, right? And I wish I could master the way of thinking when AIs be complementary. Yeah, it can be like fulfill my needs in terms of like, you know, everything that I don't know, all the unknowns. I a little bit fearsome about the be dependent, too much dependent on AI. So you like a snail out of the snail house, like you're gonna do nothing without AI. Then again, I think, yeah, the conceptual question here is how you can build up your mindset to be complementary to AI, or AI to be complementary to your mind. This is where I'm heading. I don't know exact answer to this question, but yeah, it was a clip of a beginner having something that you used to spend like months or year.
Wait, now you caught me. How AI can be complementary to myself, or how I can be complementary to AI? Is it really an option?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, because you know, it's you have the needs, and this is what AI don't have right now. Like as a human being, you have a needs. You're not making approximation in the hidden layers. It's more complex neural network, your brain, and you can like make the complementary modules to process more information, to get faster, like logical operations, yada yada yada. Is at least for like for some foreseeable future. I don't know what happened like in a year, 2, 3, but.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to argue with you, like, hey, this is just a robot. How can I be complementary to a robot? I am the subject. This is the robot. And then I thought, like, I mean, let's get back to people with robot vacuum cleaners. I mean, when you turn this thing on, you actually like remove the wires, like you do the pre-cleaning so the robot can clean the house. So like, yeah, you all are complementary to your vacuum cleaner in this case, right? So, Mantas, since like you're you wanted to react to this?
Yeah, and we can be complementary to ChatGPT by writing the right request without please, oh, help me, good guy.
Oh snap! Like
you remember these GPT downtimes when you're like, I can't work. That's it.
Crap. It's like, I mean, less breathing, breathe out. This therapy session is going where I didn't expect it to go. But Mantas, since again, like you're a researcher, like I mean, we're users and we're dreaming like what we want AI to be. But you're actually like helping this technology to make product out of this research thing, and you're researching it. So can we get your expert prediction of? Can you comment on our dreams and maybe predict a bit like what's going to happen, where we're right, where we're wrong?
Yeah, I think it's very hard to predict what AI will be capable of, but it's much easier to predict how it will what role it will fill. That a lot of cases will be where AI will be invisible. It's like providing you good defaults. And then in some cases it will be a very good autocomplete of your actions, right? But in some Black Mirror episode, it might be that you will be complementary to the AI. Like big corporation being run by AI and hiring humans to just complement a core AI with some small tasks made by humans. And even worse, like government being run by the ChatGPT. And you don't have any instrument to appeal AI's decisions to anyone because AI is making decisions.
Because there is no anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically the future might fall between these two poles where you are superhuman, complemented by AI, and you are running in some Black Mirror Matrix episode where you actually
pretty much
nobody.
To continue your thinking, is there an AI tool that is being emerged and that you're super excited about?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are
you building one?
I'm more scared about politicians trying to regulate without understanding. But yeah, that's probably the biggest risk.
Yeah. Now we really have time for questions.
We have 15 minutes for Q&A session, but if there is no question, I think you can continue to talk. It depends on you.
This person has
if you have a question, just come to the microphone and
I suggest you, like people with questions, you just like stand, go to the mic, so instead of like waiting for me to notice you, you just like make yourself noticeable. Agreed? Let's that consider agreed. Please, your question.
Hello, I guess this is an open question for everybody. So in the long run, what do you think? Is AI going to help people improve their creative and writing skills? Or is it going to be detrimental to people's critical thinking skills? Because AI is doing so much of the creative process right now. So basically, is humanity going to get dumber?
Or smarter. Yeah.
Or smarter because of this?
Cool. Who wants to start?
Well, I can start. You know, the future, like, you know, the studies is showing that AI can be more profound in a lot of areas that involves like logical operations, involves like, you know, skills of memorizing, reading. Then, yeah, I mean, if you will rely on AI in terms of like, you know, some critical decisions, it might lead you to the big failure. So with that being said, well, we just can see, like in foreseeable future, whether self-sufficient AI models can be more efficient than a human. I don't think that with a technical knowledge that we have right now, how we like, you know, how we make this like reinforcement machine learning, it's possible for the next like 2-3 years. Maybe we will see something like in 2026.
Yeah, like my take on it, since I mean it's currently, at least for me, with my experience. Again, let's just take ChatGPT because that's many of us like use and can relate to. It feels a lot like an echo chamber. So like this thing tell me what I want to hear, what I like. That's how it's trained to do. And like Mantas, please correct me. So my answer to your question is like, if you're dumb, you become dumber. If you're smart, you become smarter just because like this is an echo chamber. It's like, so it amplifies both your stupidity and your creativity.
I agree. I think people shouldn't rely too much on these AI tools. Still remember that they do have choice and they do have inspiration, that the thing that ChatGPT doesn't have, because it can generate from many other options and all the data that it generates, that it has, but it cannot invent something brand new.
Mantas?
Yeah, I always kind of start thinking about the history of civilization in such case, and we can identify multiple modes of how people thought in different periods of the history. In ancient times, when all the civilization was spoken, it was one way. Then when the writing was invented, especially the book printing, then it changed a lot how people think, and actually you could pass very good information and very dense information from between generations via writing. And then we have now a generation which is based on search. You don't remember things, but you can search for them. And then this gets superseded by AI, where you don't need even search. It can give you answers immediately, right? And for every past generation, this new generation human thinking process might sound dumb, but it might be more effective. So it's very hard to predict. It will be, from nowadays perspective, maybe these people will look dumber, but they might be more effective than us, like the next generation.
Okay, dumber but more efficient. Yeah, it makes sense. That sort of works. If we don't have more questions, I have a cautionary tale. No questions? Cool. Oh, there was a question. Okay, yeah.
I kind of have maybe not a question, but a thought to think about it. I would like to come back to the topic of today's debates, like is AI still in our jobs? I guess I don't like thinking of a job as something stable, fixed, as an object which can be stolen, because job is very, it's a complex thing. People of the same profession have different sets of skills. They bring something personal in it. They have different approaches, different methods, and therefore different outcomes and different success as an outcome of a job. And so that's already kind of proves that the job cannot be stolen from a certain person, because different people put different stuff in their job. And moreover, jobs are always evolving. They're always changing with time. So AI definitely, I think that AI definitely will change the market of jobs. It definitely changes the demand of certain skills, but it cannot replace a job.
I love your thinking so much. What's your name?
Marina.
Marina, I love your thinking. Sasha, since like that's sort of very personal on you, like, do you agree?
Thought.
Because I mean, let me put it this way: like, my feeling is that usually, actually, like people, like companies are hiring. Like, I want an experienced, whatever, Unity developer that has experience doing this particular thing, whatever, like implementing monetization of free-to-play games. And that's, I mean, so like, I think she is right, but that's not how people are hiring. Prove me wrong, or like, who is right? Marina or I?
I like Marina's point
I
very
like
much.
her too, but who is right?
Okay.
Excuse me, you like my point because it's very comforting for a human to think to be replaceable.
Each of you has point because it depends very much on the company. You know, I think we were discussing this topic on Gamedev camp discussions, something like that, because it depends on the structure, on the team size. Because sometimes it's like a human orchestra, one candidate doing the wide scope of tasks, and sometimes it's like narrow, specialized scope of tasks. But anyway, I agree that each person can bring something brand new.
Does the employer really want that? That's what I was pushing for. The employer. Does the employer really want the people to be more creative?
Yeah, in a small startup, they do want that. In a big structured company with this bureaucracy, sometimes they do not. And it can take some time to bring these changes to your job and to your scope of tasks.
Okay, so you have a wishful thinking then.
Thank you.
But please, if you have more to add.
I think the main question here is like, not what employer want. I mean, it doesn't matter what the employee want, right? I mean, he or she. What is the motivational factors? I mean, if you do something against your will or just for money, results will be mediocre, iffy anyway. You know, sometimes in your life you just cut up with some idea, can't sleep, can't eat. Just doing it. Oh wow, that's a motivation. Wow, you can do a lot of stuff during the day. If you have the same passion on your workplace, I bet like not many people have this feeling at the workplace. Well, you're golden. If AI can identify these factors and make people, you know, more happier doing this, good. If not, like it doesn't matter what the employer wants.
You seem to have a very good corporate culture at tinyBuild, but in many companies, it's your manager who sets your KPIs, and if your manager wants you to do animations like that, that's what you're doing, or else.
You know, each time we set the KPI, we kind of like put them on a shelf to gather dust. Because in reality, what kind of stuff you gonna measure? How many minutes people sitting on a chairs, or how much characters they type in per minute? It really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you can work 3 hours, 2 hours, but make something that other person doing like during the week. If you can do this with AI, I'm perfect with that as a manager. I would say like, well, I will stick to you, bro, or I will stick to anyone, he or she, just because this makes me more productive as a manager, and makes the company more successful, right?
So I would dream so that more managers have your mentality. But Mantas, what's your take?
Yeah, I think it really depends how much of the decision making is in your hands. If you're a decision maker, the AI is actually boosting your performance. If you're just minion who is doing things which you are told to do, then your job might be in the risk of being replaced by AI, right? But that's clear where you should move with your career then, right? On the other hand, it probably will be challenging for the specialists who are just starting career. Then they will be kind of competing against AI, which was trained on experience of millions of people. That will be tough. On the other hand, people are creative. They're always inventing new professions and roles. And remember that long time ago, artists were painting by hand the portraits, and they were very expensive. But photography changed that quite a bit, right? But it doesn't mean that artists disappeared as the profession. They just started painting some different things.
Well, photographers are almost disappeared as a profession, though. Yeah, nobody cares about them. I agree. But actually, I don't. But still, let's close this panel.
Be careful, because the photographer here will make
he's gonna throw something at me.
photos.
But yeah, that's how I have so many bruises. But
Maybe behind your back.
yeah, oh no. Look, let's close this panel with a cautionary tale. It's very short and it's half funny, but it's true. So basically, I was working. I mean, it's from that 2 weeks when I had nobody else to talk to in my office except for ChatGPT. So I trained the investor personality, like it was like a huge training, like personality, blah blah blah. We had huge iterations, and then we, like myself and my robot, we were working on a pitch. And I was explaining, like, I mean, giving lots of context, like what we do and how and blah. And this robot started like putting that, like, look. Basically, ChatGPT put the AI focus in the pitch of my startup. I'm like, no, it's not AI, it's an algorithm. And we freaking had an argument with ChatGPT when ChatGPT was like, no, you should put AI to your presentation because this is how you like get much more money and the investment and all the thing. And I'm like, but that's not what we're doing. I don't want to put AI in my presentation. And ChatGPT was protecting that, like, no, you should put AI to your presentation. So it was the creepy moment when AI was pushing for AI to be pitched.
So it's making PR to itself, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, freak.
That's why I'm always polite to the AI. If there is a robot uprising, they maybe let me live.
Good. I'd like to close this panel on this gloomy moment, so we have like thing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.